Hello and welcome back to the Wrestling Rant. It is Friday still. No, it's actually Saturday technically. It's about midnight. But we're going to go over Smackdown from Friday the 10th of May 2013. Alright, the show starts off and it's the highlight reel with Jericho. And his guest is Ryback. So they're talking, and towards the end of it, they start making it look like they're getting ready to fight. But Ryback says, I think he says, "What's stopping me from running you over right now?" Something like that. Jericho says, "Because I'm looking into your eyes and I know you don't have it in you." So it's looking like they're getting ready to fight. Teddy Long comes out. Again, I really don't know why Teddy has any power. He's only the assistant to Booker T. He doesn't actually... There's nothing in his title that would suggest he has any power. He's just an assistant. Or like an advisor. But anyways, he comes out and he announces that Jericho and Ryback will be the main event match of this evening. So, all of a sudden, Ryback cracks Jericho from behind, lays him out, and then Ryback leaves. So that's the end of that segment. After that, we come back from a commercial, because that was the first commercial break there. We come back from a commercial. Kofi is already on his way to the ring, Kofi Kingston, that is. And Cody Rhodes is already in the ring. So, pretty sure you can tell where this goes. Kofi gets the win, and actually a decent spot to end the match. Let's see. Kofi went for the Trouble in Paradise, and Cody ducked it. And as soon as he got out of the way of it, he goes to hit the ropes to hit his beautiful disaster kick. He goes for it, and Kofi turns around and notices it, and he winds up and spins around, and he nails the Trouble in Paradise as Cody is coming back for the beautiful disaster. So Kofi nails him out of midair with the Trouble in Paradise, and he gets the win. So Kofi wins. After that, we get a recap of Brock and Heyman at WWE headquarters from Raw. They're going over this so many times, and it's like, nobody cares. Just stop already. But anyways, they recap that, blah, blah, blah. Up next, what was supposed to be Big E Langston versus Jack Swagger. This match never even really started. I didn't hear a bell. Big E comes out, and then Swagger comes out, and then Del Rio comes out, I believe. And he goes to sit over on commentary, but like I said, the match never really starts because shortly after Del Rio gets on commentary, they bring up the fact that Swagger apparently injured Ricardo Rodriguez, who is Del Rio's little buddy. And this, just bringing it up, pisses Del Rio off. He jumps up off of the commentary desk and he goes over to the ring, reaches underneath it, grabs a ladder, and slides it into the ring. So guess what happens? We get ladder fight. Let's see. I can't remember exactly who hit who with it, but essentially Del Rio wound up getting involved. The match was completely thrown out, no contest. It, like I said, never even really got started. It just wound up being a big brawl with a ladder in the middle of it. Ziggler got nailed with it. Big E got nailed with it. Del Rio made damn sure to ram Swagger into the barricade, which is what apparently injured Ricardo. nailed him. Zeb Coulter tried to grab the ladder out of the ring. He was on the outside. He tried to grab it from outside and pull it out. And I don't know if it was Ziggler or if it was Del Rio, but somebody baseball slid kicked it and kicked it into Coulter, and he got knocked out. It's like the only person who didn't get the hell beat out of him was Del Rio and AJ, who was also there for Ziggler, of course. Yeah. So the whole segment ends with Del Rio. He sets the ladder up and he climbs to the top of it. He's on top, victorious, however you want to put it. Doesn't really matter. So that segment pretty much went nowhere. We move on. Out comes the Shield. But it's not going to be another 6-man tag match. Oh no. Only Ambrose is wrestling. And I like how they're doing this with having Ambrose be the one who goes solo most of the time. Because he's probably the best wrestler out of the three. It's nothing against Rollins. Rollins is actually a pretty good wrestler. I don't think he's as good as Ambrose. And Reigns is probably not even close to either one of them. But either way, it's going to be Ambrose, and he's going against Daniel Bryan of Team Hell No. This match was fairly decent, went for a while, and there was some good action in it. I can't really remember anything right off the top of my head, but aside from the finish. And the finish is Bryan has Ambrose in the no-lock. And AJ jumps up on the apron. Or no, not AJ, I'm thinking Rollins jumps up on the apron on one side of the ring and distracts the referee. Kane was there too for Bryan, of course, and so alright, so Rollins jumps up on the apron to distract the ref. Reigns comes in from the other side and kicks Bryan to break the no-lock. So there's no DQ called at this point. But then Reigns bails out of the ring, and Ambrose gets up and grabs Bryan, and he's about to give him that nice headlock driver that he's been using. He used it on Kofi and planted him on his head. I think that was on Raw. Or maybe that was last week on Smackdown. I'm not sure. But he's about to hit this on Bryan, and Kofi comes out of nowhere and attacks Ambrose. The ref sees it, and DQs Daniel Bryan. So Ambrose actually wins by DQ. So, yeah. So Ambrose wins by DQ. Earlier on in the show, they were talking about how Mark Henry was going to attempt to break a world record by pulling 2 semi-trucks, including the tractor trailers as well, I believe. And this was supposedly weighed about 110,000 pounds. Okay, fine. After the Ambrose and Daniel Bryan match, I think there was a commercial break. They come back, and they give us a feed from earlier in the day. They said it was about 3 p.m. Broad daylight outside, and they're out in the parking lot of the arena, I guess, or they're somewhere. I don't really know where. But Henry's getting all strapped up to one of these big semi-trucks. And the primetime players, Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, are there, and so is Damian Sandow for some reason. And he's standing there in this parking lot in his robe. All 3 of these guys are cheering on Henry the whole time, by the way. I don't really get it, but whatever. Henry gets himself strapped into this truck, and he actually does manage to pull the thing 20 feet, which is the record distance at least. But that's just one of the trucks, and that was earlier in the day. So they show that, and then they also announce, I guess they use this as a segue, to announce that Sheamus versus Mark Henry at Extreme Rules has now been made a strap match. And if you don't know the rules of a strap match, of course they're tied to each other by their wrists by a leather strap. And the whole point of the match, as stupid as it is you have to... Essentially, you beat the other guy senseless to the point where he can't fight back, and then you have to drag his ass around the ring and touch all 4 turnbuckle pads. So you have to touch all 4 of them in sequence. But anyway, so they announced that. And then after that, they do cut back to the supposedly live feed, although since it's Smackdown and it's recorded, it's not really live. But they take it to us as it happened at night. Henry gets strapped in again. Now he's going for both of the semis. So he gets strapped in. Matt Striker was there, kind of gets a brief interview, blah, blah, blah. Henry starts trying to do it. He's struggling with it. They're not moving. And Striker comes back over. He says, "Do you have any comments? You seem to be struggling." Henry's getting all pissy because, you know, blah, whatever. Henry tries it again. And he actually manages to pull these 2 big semi-trucks 20 feet. So, yeah, he actually manages to do it. But as he finishes it, as he drags them over the finish line, he collapses out of exhaustion, I guess. So they're like checking on him. "Mark, are you okay? Mark, are you okay?" Whatever. He gets up, he's okay. They give him a bottle of water. As he's getting up, he goes, "That's what I do." I'm like, yeah, whatever. Can we stop with this stupid strongman crap? Nobody cares. We don't need your tug of war. We don't need you pulling semi-trucks. We don't need, shit, what was the other thing? They did the tug of war. Oh yeah, the arm wrestling crap. We don't need that crap. But whatever. After we had that, we get another recap, this time of what happened between Ryback and Cena on Raw. And this was after Ryback and Kane had their match, and the Shield came out, and Ryback wound up bailing because he didn't want to fight the Shield. Daniel Bryan came out to save Kane, and then Cena came out to save Bryan and Kane. And then they all chased off the Shield, but then Ryback turns on Cena and nails him in the guts with a chair. They recap that whole thing. Blah, blah, blah. They cut to backstage where Randy Orton is being interviewed by the new backstage interviewer chick. I keep forgetting her name. Whatever. They go over, you know, Randy getting knocked out twice by the Big Show. Blah, 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 blah. Randy actually cuts a decent promo. Fairly short. Not really all that much noteworthy. They cut back out to the arena, and out comes the Big Show. And he's getting ready for a match with his jobber opponent, who is Tensai, or Sweet Tea, whatever you want to call him. I think Tensai got jobber entranced, I'm not sure. But it doesn't matter. The match starts, and Tensai starts, you know, he starts teeing off on Big Show. Tensai actually being very aggressive. He's wailing on him, he's knocking on him hard, you know. But then all of a sudden, Big Show, I think, breaks a grapple attempt and then just clocks Tensai. KO punch. One punch knocks him out cold. And that's match. So that was a freaking total squash match. Really was not all that long. 2 big friggin' hosses, so there was nothing really all that great about it. Match is over. Brodus gets in the ring to check on Tensai, of course. And he tries to attack Big Show. Big Show fights him off and spears him. So Brodus gets squashed too. He's getting ready to KO punch Brodus, I think, and Randy Orton comes out of frickin' nowhere and RKO's the shit out of Big Show. So there's the end of that segment. We cut to backstage once again, where we see Kaitlyn, and all of a sudden, AJ jumps in. And we know that these two don't like each other right now, so they're going back and forth, dissing each other, blah, blah, blah. AJ's talking about, this secret admirer guy of yours. He must be stupid or something. AJ's called her man arms and whatever, all these other insults and stuff. Yeah, so, but whatever. Natalya pops up, and she says something to AJ, and AJ leaves. And then Natalya and Kaitlyn start talking. They're talking about it. And Kaitlyn brings up Khali's stupid undercover work that he was supposed to be doing from Raw, I think. And then Khali pops up from out of nowhere. And he's wearing Rey Mysterio's mask. Don't know why. It was stupid as fuck. Khali disappears. Or no, wait. Kaitlyn walks off. And Khali is standing there talking with Natalya. She's telling him to be a little bit more, a little bit better. She says, you don't have to dress up like somebody else to go undercover. Khali pops up with a mustache on, a fake mustache, trying to be like Cody Rhodes. Really stupid shit. This is really dumb. So, but anyways, that little segment ends finally. And out comes Jericho. It's time for the main event of the night. And there was about a half an hour left in the show at this point, and I'm thinking, are they really going to try and have Ryback go for a half an hour? But apparently, yes. Jericho comes out, Ryback comes out. And during Ryback's entrance, I noticed again that the announcer says he's from Las Vegas. So apparently they've completely dropped the Sin City thing. He's not from Sin City anymore. He's from Las Vegas. And I know Sin City's just a nickname for Las Vegas. We know he's from Vegas anyways. It doesn't matter. But apparently they're not going to say Sin City anymore. He's from Vegas now. And that's all there is to it. The match went for a good while. Some back and forth stuff. Some decent counters. Jericho managed to get the walls of Jericho on Ryback. But Ryback was able to make it to the ropes to break the hold. After that, Jericho pops up and hits the code breaker on Ryback. But Ryback falls out of the ring. Jericho goes out after him, but gets clocked. And then Ryback picks Jericho up like he's going to give him an atomic drop. But instead of doing that, he rams Jericho nuts first into one of the corner posts. The ref sees this and immediately calls for the bell. DQ, match is over. Jericho wins by disqualification. Ryback starts walking away. The ref helps Jericho up, and of course Jericho's grabbing his nuts because he just had him rammed into the post. Then all of a sudden Ryback comes back and clobbers Jericho and throws him on top of the announce table. And that's the end of the show. So yeah, this episode of Smackdown was not all that great. Not all that great at all. Don't know when they're ever going to get to the freaking point with AJ and Kaitlyn. Don't know why the hell they even thought they wanted to do this match with Jericho and Ryback. Really just a lot of boring crap. They hyped up the frickin' dancing thing with Fandango that's going to be on Raw this coming Monday. Not really all that excited about that. So, but we will see where they go with it. Hopefully Raw will be a little bit better on Monday. Cena's still hurt, supposedly. Doesn't seem to be all that hurt, but we'll have to find out. Yeah, we'll see what happens on Monday for Raw. That will wrap it up for the Smackdown overview, review, whatever you want to call it. And we will see you next time on the Wrestling Rant.